Barron just keeps growing, towering over his 6'3" father.
Donald Trump allegedly has a big issue with Barron Trump, but why is Donald so jealous of his youngest son? Insiders say that Donald is really insecure around Barron, and they're throwing shade at Donald for the twisted things he's doing. When Donald appeared on the Megyn Kelly Show podcast in September 2023, he was bragging about Barron. Donald told Megyn that Barron is a very good athlete, a good-looking kid, and a good student. But then he changed his mind. At first, Donald said Barron is a good student, then a great student, but then he said that he's a very good student. Donald also mentioned something that shocked people in the know.
He's very tall.
Megyn wanted to know how tall Barron was. Donald replied, about 6'8". Barron is currently 17 years old. He may not have stopped growing yet, and as much as Donald brags about his teenage son to people like Megyn, inside sources have made crazy allegations about how jealous Donald gets around Barron. One insider is a journalist named Michael Wolff. Michael wrote a book called Siege, Trump Under Fire, and Michael obtained insider information from many Trump sources. Donald talks a big game about his son, but Michael made shocking allegations that Donald doesn't get along with Barron. Donald's real relationship with Barron is allegedly distant and strained, and Donald's jealousy over Barron's height may have started when Barron was just 12 years old. As Barron gets older, Donald's insecurity supposedly only gets worse. Michael alleged that Donald doesn't communicate with Barron. He even claimed that Barron is not a part of Donald's life. Allegedly, Donald tries his best to avoid being photographed next to his son. Michael explained this more when he appeared on The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Michael told Lawrence that Donald is allegedly obsessed with Barron's height, although supposedly he is jealous of everyone's height. Michael said that Donald tries his best not to be photographed with anyone who is taller than him. Michael claimed that height is allegedly one of Donald's techniques. What Michael means by that is Donald uses his height to appear more powerful than other people, but it's not as if Donald is a giant. Remember that infamous lewd conversation caught on tape between Donald and Billy Bush? Billy's only 5'9", while Donald claims to be 6'3". Donald doesn't look that much taller than Billy, and shockingly, inside sources have thrown shade at Donald for lying about his real height. On his driver's license, Donald's height is listed at 6'2". But after Donald got elected president of the United States, he had to get a physical checkup at the White House, and the White House doctor was hired by Donald. The medical record of that White House physical lists Donald's height as 6'3", which is unbelievable and probably not the real truth. Time magazine did a shocking profile on Donald. Their profile claimed that Donald gets irritated when anyone says his height is 6'2", because if Donald is really 6'2", his current weight would put him in the obese BMI category. So it's been alleged that Donald lies about his height so that he can't also be called obese. If Donald has lied about his height, one political expert thinks that he knows why. Jay Matthews is a columnist who studies political elections. He followed Donald's presidential campaigns, and in 2020, Jay reported some shocking findings. Jay reviewed a lot of evidence of Donald insulting the height of other candidates. Marco Rubio is a member of the Republican Party, and Donald began calling him Little Marco. He also called Democrat Adam Schiff Little Adam Schiff, and he even called the former three-time mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, Mini Mike. Another journalist got an even closer look at Donald's twisted way of thinking. He's an author named Jonathan Karl. Jonathan's book is Betrayal: The Final Act of the Trump Show. He spoke directly with Donald. And during one shocking conversation, Jonathan said that Donald told him that Barron was reluctant to say "I love you" to him. Donald even acted it out for Jonathan. Donald said he asked Barron once, "Do you love your dad?" You won't believe this, but Donald said that Barron told him, "I don't know." Apparently, Donald didn't think there was anything crazy about that. He reportedly even told Jonathan that Barron does love him. Donald's side of the story was Barron was just acting too cool. When Jonathan recalled that crazy conversation with Donald later, he said it was so unbelievable he could only call it surreal. Donald may not be close to Barron, but he doesn't mind using Barron either. This Photoshop meme was allegedly approved by Donald. It appeared on Donald's Truth social media platform, and it was so insane. Many of Donald's biggest followers were shocked that Donald used his son's image this way. Another crazy thing about this is that Barron's voice has never been heard in public, so it's pretty cool of Donald to pretend that his son is debating his biggest political rival, Joe Biden. Biden. Barron's mom, Melina, was reportedly enraged at Donald for what he did to their son. It's been reported by Trump insiders and major media outlets that Donald promised Melina he would keep Barron out of the spotlight, but Donald broke that promise and embarrassed his wife and son. Donald allegedly lied again about his height and weight in August 2023. He appeared at Fulton County Jail in Georgia to be booked on a charge of election interference. After he got booked in jail, Donald's inmate record was released, and it was crazy because Donald told prison officials his height was 6'3". Even crazier, he said his weight was 215 pounds. The Intelligencer website ripped into this obvious untruth. Shockingly, Intelligencer also published social media evidence to deny Donald's height and weight. They used side-by-side pictures comparing Donald with what a guy of that size and height should look like. Intelligencer even made an assumption about Donald, and Donald would not like this. He said, "It's sad how the former president is super sensitive about how he looks. Donald is allegedly so insecure. Sources claim that is why he belittles other politicians and makes cracks about their height just to make himself feel better." And let's not forget, allegedly Donald is distancing himself from Barron because he's jealous and insecure about his own son. Michael claimed that it got so bad between Donald and Barron in the White House that Barron stopped living with Donald. Michael also made that claim during his appearance on The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Michael told Lawrence that Barron was only living at the White House in theory. It's true that Melina always wants to protect Barron, while Donald is allegedly distant. Michael claimed that Barron became a major issue in Donald and Melina's marriage, so Donald may have pretending that he, Melina, and Barron were a happy family. But Michael made another shocking allegation about Donald when he was speaking with Lawrence. This has to do with a crazy rumor going around Washington during Donald's presidency. Sources claim that Melina and Barron were not living with Donald in the White House. Michael alleged that the rumor was true. He claimed that Melina and Barron were actually living in Maryland when Donald was president. And now that Donald keeps getting charged with more financial and political crimes, Trump sources allege that Melina continues to keep her distance. Insiders claim Melina does not want Barron tainted by Donald's political scandals, so she keeps Barron away from Donald too. Do you think that Donald is really jealous of Barron? What do you think their relationship actually looks like? Let me know in the comments below.